Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the Grateful Nation, we are live and back again. Well, we're not live, but we are back again for the 93rd episode, the 93rd iteration of the I'm Doing Great podcast. How are you guys doing? I'm Mike Lerner. And before we get into today's episode, I would just like to remind you of our great partnership with Heaven's Harvest. Heaven's Harvest is an awesome survival food company. They are a preparedness company as well. So not only do they offer food that will help sustain you during, a sort of cataclysmic event or an emergency. God forbid your power goes out, there's a hurricane or a tornado, and you guys, aren't able to get access to a supermarket. You don't have your own food that you grow. Well, guess what? Heaven's Harvest is there to help you. You can go to our link that is in the description, the Heaven's Harvest link down there. Click on it. Use our code GREAT for 10% off. And I'm really excited to be partnered with them. Like I said, Heaven's Harvest, they're a great company, and they will actually help you get through those tough times where you aren't able to get access to food. So listen, stock up, okay? Be prepared. Be a prepper. Prepper's good, positive term. It's not a negative term. You want to be a prepper. heavensharvest.com. Use our code GREAT for 10% off. And listen, today, well, actually, before we get to our guest, one more thing. Go to I'm Doing Merch. Buy some merch, okay? Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor, okay? Help us sustain the show, okay? I make this show for free for you guys. I'm shilling now, okay? I'm grifting. Need the money to help the show continue to go on. But without further ado, we have a returning guest to the show. Please welcome Josh Lekach.
Yeah.
What's up,
I'm
Josh?
here. Last time I was on the show, I could barely speak. And then after the show, I completely lost my voice. So it's going to be better this time. It's going to be better than ever. And it's good. By the way, my episode on my show yesterday was called Cultural Doomsday Prepper because although you do need to stock up on those types of things and get guns and all of that, our shows are preparing you for the cultural collapse. So we're culturally preparing you. Cultural doomsday preppers. That's what we are.
I like
So
that.
it's not a black pill. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a black pill. You have a family and you have kids and all that. You have to be aware of all the crazy degeneracy that's going on in order to kind of like guide your family in the right direction.
No, I agree. And what better way to do that with also, if you need some good food, heavensharvest.com. Use our code 10% off.
I agree.
Actually, it's really, really interesting. Can you hear that?
I heard that, but I thought that was from maybe me. But was that you?
Yeah, it's the McLaren that's starting up below the house that I'm in right now. Yeah. Where was it? Oh, yeah. But no, seriously, actually, Heaven's Harvest is actually kind of cool if we're talking about preparedness and the upcoming doomsday that can possibly happen at any time. I kind of enjoy it, dude. Like, I enjoy the prepping. I enjoy the stockpiling of guns and ammo and food and all that kind of stuff. How are you guys failing in Costa Rica?
Well, so I don't have my guns are in Los Angeles in my brother's house. He has a whole closet full. They're all mine. I couldn't bring them here, so I don't have a gun here. I'm not a citizen yet. I'm not even like a resident yet. So technically, I have to leave the country every 3 months, but I don't. They don't even do anything. Like, they don't even care in this. It's like a fake country. But we have a farm 15 minutes that way behind me. We have a farm, and we have like a bunch of water buffalo, and we get raw milk and eggs from the farm every week. So in that sense, we're good. And also, because Costa Rica is not really a real country, and I'll tell you what I mean in a second. I don't think anything, like, all the bad stuff I feel like is happening out there, and it's by design. Like, a lot of the expats down here are former intelligence, CIA, Army, all that. And I think that since Costa Rica doesn't have an army, it's really kind of an extension of the United States in the sense that it's protected by the United States. Like, people know not to mess with Costa Rica. So I think it's like Switzerland in Central America. It's like our version of Switzerland. So by design, just things are meant to stay out of here. Like, I think even Zelensky has a couple $1 billion in a bank here, so they all know what this place really is.
Oh, because of course he does. Okay, Josh,
Yeah.
what are we going to talk about? It's been a while, and I texted you and I told you a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, first things first. Has Steven Crowder always been a scumbag?
I mean, like from the rumors I've heard, and even if you just go back to the Daily Wire debacle, he forced my hand in defending the Daily Wire. Like I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro or the Daily Wire or anything, but that whole thing when you kind of heard both sides, Steven Crowder, his demeanor and the way he handled it, it just seemed a little bit off to me. And then you hear how he treated not gay Jared and other
Mhm.
people that work for him. You never really hear many positive things about him. Now I saw that clip because it's public now, of him yelling at his wife, and a lot of fishy things about that clip, like the fact that he has how many millions of dollars and they only have one car. That's a
Right.
little weird.
That's one thing. Yep.
Yeah, that's weird. Um, and we're seeing like the thing is we're seeing like 33 minutes of an entire marriage in one clip. So it's very hard to like really know the dynamics between them two and like what arrangements they had in the marriage and like what her job was supposed to be and all that. But she's still 8 months pregnant,
Right.
and like kind of you're kind of looking like a dick, my guy. You know how
Here's
you're
what
how
here's
you're
here's what got me. It was very weird. I don't know what he was asking. He was like, "Put the gloves on." It's like, "Go walk the
yeah.
dog with the gloves on." I'm like, "What gloves? What is he talking about?" And I watched a clip where Destiny tried to, I guess, play devil's advocate. Like, I mean, you're getting a snippet of their marriage, and I mean, who knows? She could probably be like the laziest wife in the world. And I'm saying to myself, well, she's 8 months pregnant and she's wanting to go grocery shopping. That doesn't seem lazy to me. Not only that, like, I really would like to know why he wouldn't let her go grocery shopping, but wants her to walk the dog alone and put
Well,
on gloves.
and take an Uber.
That's right.
Like I it just doesn't make sense to me. My wife, I think she's 8. Yeah, she's 8 months pregnant right now.
Yeah.
And and I like I do everything because she's 8 months pregnant, and I'm
Right.
not complaining. Like yesterday was a hectic day. We only have one car between like my brother and my parents and all of us out here. So I packed up the car with my son Julian. He goes to like a little Montessori type of thing where it's like 3 hours a day. It's just so he hangs
Yeah.
out with other kids outdoors. So I pack him up, I drop him off there, and then I take my brother from there to the farm, and then I like go to the gym, but and then I did the grocery shopping yesterday. I did it. Didn't have much time, like to make a bunch of stops and pick up my wife. So I just did everything. I was Mr. Mom yesterday, but I know that it's kind of temporary, like, so I'm not going to complain. And I mean, to complain about stuff like that is kind of like a low T thing, in my opinion.
Well, it's
And
just the way he talks too. Well,
yeah.
you don't, oh, why don't you go put on the gloves? No, you're not going to go do that. If you love me, you go do that. Like, why
Did
is
you
he
see?
talking like that?
Yeah, did you see Gavin, the censored TV account, they tweeted like a 50-second clip about it because they spoke about it on the show last night.
No.
Dude, it was so funny because they were so fixated on the fact that he's just sitting on the couch smoking a cigar,
Smoking a
almost like an
cigar.
Italian mob boss, and he's not wearing shoes. So he's threatening her and all that, but he's
Yeah.
he's wearing socks, and they were so fixated on that minor detail, because it's in a sense it's kind of comical, and
Right. Well, he is a comedian, quote unquote. Steven Crowder is a comedian. It just seems weird. Yeah, you and I have wives. They've both been pregnant currently, and they have been in the past before. And when they get that pregnant, 8, 9 months, especially in the third trimester, like I treat them like delicate flowers. And they want to do stuff, and they still do stuff, and they still can do things. Pregnant women are capable of pretty much doing
yeah.
anything they can normally. I mean, I know women in their third trimesters who still work out regularly. It's very weird that he wouldn't, be a freaking dude, be a guy, be a man, and tell your wife, listen, honey, why don't you relax? Get off of your feet. I'll walk the dog. I'll go to the grocery store. But even if my wife wanted to be like, no, 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 it's okay. I want to go out. Fine, go ahead, go out. I don't get that. It was very weird, and I understand that we only saw, 3 minutes of that entire day versus, that entire week, year, whatever was going on. But then when he goes inside, apparently he tells her that what was he gonna do? He's gonna beat the hell out of her or mess her up or something like that.
Yeah, like, F her up, he's gonna F her up, which, I don't know. This is gossip, but it is public, and the thing is he did address it a few days ago, and he was kind of trying to soften the blow, by and kind of like putting the blame on her that she ended it, she wanted to end it, and he didn't want to end it, but like it didn't seem like he cared anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's already at that point and she's 8 months pregnant, why is she pregnant? Why are you bringing two kids into this world, into this situation? And I wasn't talking about abortion. I'm saying like, why
Why are you still with
um
this guy?
yeah, because it's not like from one moment to the next that you're going to not love her anymore and all of that. So the problem I have is it's kind of like with preachers, certain preachers like Joel Osteen, like these types of people, they're performers. Who knows if they really believe what they're preaching, and it kind of goes back to that. Like he talks about conservatism and all
Yeah.
that, but you're not living your life like that.
No.
Um, so, and look, there's two sides to every story, but still, like in her condition, to treat her in
Well, I
that
mean,
way
listen,
is
that's
weird.
certainly the case now that a lot of conservative pundits or talking heads or even influencers don't live what they preach. And it's just something that, while doing the show for a while, I hear things. I don't necessarily believe all of them, but, it's kind of a letdown when you hear these things about people. And this is the thing. Like, I don't want to talk. I don't like talking about gossip. We've said on the show that we're not going to gossip or talk about drama, especially when it's in private. But yeah, the Steven Crowder public video has been made public. His feud with the Daily Wire has been made public. And even like you, my hand was forced to defend the Daily Wire because there's still people there that I admire and that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think conclusion is Steven Crowder is probably a dirtbag. Can we
Well,
talk?
also,
Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, before we move on, I mean, this is so the thing with him is it's a pattern also. I mean, the way he's handling his divorces, the way he handled the contract negotiations with the Daily Wire, he himself is a gossiper. Like he brings in these things that should be private into the public, and it's kind of like a chick way to interact with your audience.
100%.
So he's forcing it. Like, I don't want to see those things, and I don't want to talk about those things, and it actually makes the conservative right wing segment of punditry seem pretty weak.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Well, hopefully he does get divorced because if it was all for clickbait, that's even worse. But speaking of divorce, I remember what did I text you about a week ago? I was like, we have to talk about that soccer player in Europe who did probably, I don't know if it's the most Chad move of all time, but I guess what was it? His wife wanted to divorce him, went to the court, sought half of
Yeah.
his money, half of his assets, and the judge says, well, he owns nothing. Do you
Yeah,
remember
it's
this
all in
guy's
his
name? Can you
mom.
talk about it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you remember his name?
I don't. I don't. Especially because I don't follow soccer. But
Let me
that
look it up.
story went onto 4chan and everything. But he basically put like all of his paychecks, millions of dollars, they were going to his mom. So anytime he would want to purchase anything, he would ask his mom for money. I
That's
think
so good.
I
Oh,
think that's
Israel Adesanya?
sure. I guess that's his name.
Oh, no. That's the fighter who praises the move by
You see,
that's
that's
the
how much
fighter
I
who
know.
the soccer player Ashraf Hakimi.
You see, I would never ever remember that, especially because it's one of those names.
Yes,
One of those
one of the
people.
Muslims' names.
Yeah. I already forgot it. Ashraf, maybe.
Ashraf Hakimi.
I
Ashraf
think it.
Hakimi.
Yeah, I guess I'm of two minds of that. Like, I do think it is a Chad move, in one sense, especially because it's going to his mom. That's pretty wholesome, if you ask
Yeah.
me. That's pretty wholesome.
Well, it's not
Uh,
necessarily. It's not necessarily that it's going to her. It's that he's putting it. I don't know. Is he putting it in his mother's name to deliberately hide it from the wife, just in case, because he knows that there's a huge possibility that this woman is, a gold digger.
well, that's the thing. Like,
Like, why not just
you
get a
and
prenup?
you and I are normal people who don't have millions of dollars.
Yet.
So we don't have to kind of think of these things. And when we're when we were courting women, and then when we decided to get married and all of that, like I didn't sign a prenup. Like someone asked me, what do you think about prenups? Did you sign one? And I'm like, actually, and I'm not lying, I forgot those even existed.
Okay.
Because it's like so much
Foreign.
of a huh?
It's so foreign to you. The
It's
concept.
yeah, it's so foreign. Like I was so confident that my marriage is rock steady, and that my relationship with my wife was so perfect that I wouldn't even dream of it. And then if I were to dream of it, then maybe I'm hesitating on getting married to begin with. Like I'm not very confident in it. But I think that once, like, I can't put myself in the shoes of someone who makes that much money, and like you might be more paranoid about those sorts of things, so you come up with plans like that. It's like it's hard to imagine what that's like, and when you're dating someone or getting married or whatever, like there's still kind of that hint behind your mind, that
But she might take me for everything I'm worth.
yeah, yeah. And especially with it's not like it's different than starting a business. You
True.
kind of, ever since you're a kid, you dream of becoming a professional uh soccer player, or whatever, in sports, and it's like it to get and you it's a window, like it's a short window. You're not going to be a soccer player your whole life, so like imagine like working ever since you're 5 or 6 years old to get to that level, and then have it all taken away from you. It's not like being a businessman where you can maybe just start another business, or you have that mindset. I don't know, it's tough. What do you think?
What do I think as far as what? I mean, was it a good move to put everything in his mom's name?
Is it a
Like,
Chad King move?
is it a Chad King? No, I think it might be in the realm of like a Tate kind of move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
somewhat in that realm. I don't know if it's necessarily like the Christian thing to do. I think the Christian thing to do is, you date someone for the purpose of marrying that person, and while dating, you're able to discern, is this a good or a bad person? And if there are any qualities, or if there are any, doubts that you have that would make you think, I don't know, she seems like someone who would kind of either stab me in the back, or if we grew apart, or if there was any sort of marital abuse or marital infidelity, that this woman would be conniving enough to try and take everything that I have, then it's probably not best to move forward in that relationship. Um,
It
but
does
yeah,
seem like
apart from that,
when you have that much fame and money, your whole lifestyle becomes very lonely. Like
yeah,
I can't imagine that you can escape that kind of mindset, especially nowadays, and especially I don't know how laws are in Europe or wherever he plays, but like in the United States, the divorce laws, and the 50-50 rule, which I think it's like all across the states, but I know for a fact that that's like how California is, where you have these certain laws that kind of meddle with the sanctity of marriage. People
yeah,
say, "Oh, it protects women and all that," but really, what it does is it meddles with the sanctity of marriage, because um, you're basically enticing really bad people to get married for the wrong reasons.
yeah. No, I agree. And I don't know if it incentivizes. No, I don't think that's the right way to put it. That it would like incentivize infidelity or something like that. But
No, I'm talking about like for the money,
yeah.
like the 50-50 rule, where if you get divorced, you get 50% of like
Well,
the income.
what happened with the when they got divorced? Wasn't he ordered to pay like some ridiculous number in child support, where she's more than capable of taking care of the kids by herself if she needed to?
Yeah, it's like a one size fits all kind of
Yeah, which is kind of
rule.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think government should be completely out of marriage. It should be between you and your church or religion or whatever.
What happens if
Um,
you're outside of the church?
I mean, but then you're not. Then you're not. Atheists shouldn't get. Look, my stance is atheists should not be allowed to get married
Oh,
or
I
have
like that.
kids.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. What's the point of having kids if you're an atheist?
I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with
I'm
you.
an extremist.
Well, there's no point. What's the point in creating more people if there's no reason to live, or if there is no chance at eternal life after death? Why would you
I
then
don't
create
understand.
kids?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how you could be an atheist once having kids, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense.
It
Atheists are retarded. Let that let that
the
be
end.
let that be a lesson from this segment or this episode. Atheists are retarded. Should we title this episode "Atheists Are Retarded"?
You can, even though it won't even be a large portion of the show, and it's gonna get the right people angry. So I think
Yeah.
that you probably should. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, that's good. Okay, listen, Tucker Carlson is leaving. Possibly he might not actually be fired. We don't know. But here's my opinion on Tucker Carlson not being at Fox anymore. I don't care. I know a lot
Well,
of people aren't going to like that. I don't care.
I like it for many reasons. One, my dad was an avid Fox News watcher, but really mainly for Tucker. But the TV would still be left on, and then you'd hear Hannity in the background. That dude sucks. I hate that guy. And it's like he got unplugged from that matrix. So I think that's a really positive thing. Now, another reason why I think this is pretty significant is one thing. Like, so we have that whole Steven Crowder thing going on, and it's not very good for our side.
It is.
But having another massive corporation of media within the conservative movement, I think, would be a good thing. It would put pressure on the Blaze. It would put pressure on the Daily Wire, even Rumble. And I think what's happening now, I want to put this on record right now. So this is all, I'm going to be the first to say it. I
Mm,
think or maybe not the first, I don't know, whatever. I think what's happening is if he doesn't run for president, which would be for VP, really, Tucker is starting his own empire, media empire.
yeah.
Um, and it's good for us, Mike. It's good for all of us because we
Yes.
maybe want to get on there. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is going to happen. He's going to start his own media empire. Alex Jones is going to shutter the doors of Infowars. Infowars will cease to exist. Alex Jones is, and that's because of all the legal stuff.
Right.
And then Alex Jones is going to take all of his talent and go into
Business with
basically,
Tucker.
yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is interesting. And listen, I don't want to say like I don't care that, Tucker. It's not that I don't care about Tucker. I like Tucker. There are a couple of things that I disagree with
Yeah.
him on, but it's like okay, yeah, it's not like he's going to be irrelevant after he leaves Fox News or something. It's actually good that he's leaving Fox News because
Oh,
Fox
yeah. It's
News
great.
it's been a cancer. The only thing that it's really done is help to still keep a boomer voting base for the right, if that makes any sense. But it's not
Yeah.
like those people are all of a sudden going to change the way that they vote. I don't think so. If anything, they're going to become more emboldened and maybe further right
Hmm.
now that Tucker has left Fox. But the whole I guess drama around it, yeah, I don't necessarily care about that. Every conservative influencer and his cousin has been talking about what does this mean now that Fox has left? Like, who cares?
Yeah. No, look, it's good because um, really, Fox really kind of showed their allegiance when the election was happening, 2020.
Yeah,
Especially how they were reporting it election night. It was very bizarre. Um, and I think one of the producers that was like, "Oh, we're gonna call this state for Biden," blah blah blah. Like one of those, the decision desk person, I think was like a massive Hillary supporter. So like they weren't really, you know what I mean? Like they had an agenda and they succeeded with it. And really then and there was kind of like the mask is off with Fox.
yeah,
So I think that that's great. I think that their viewership dropping is great, and anything to embolden Tucker is really good because he is smart. Like obviously, I don't agree with anyone on everything, um, but I do think that he's a really smart guy, really interesting voice, and very powerful. I mean, the fact that he had that 2-minute video on Twitter have like 60 million or 70 million impressions, views,
yeah.
um, says a lot, and it kind of really exposes how delicate the cable news media channels are, like how weak they really are. He doesn't need them and he already has the money. And I
Right.
think that the reason why I think he's going to align with Alex Jones, for Alex Jones kind of alluded to that, not in a not so subtle way on his show the other day, that like that's what's
Interesting.
happening.
Yeah.
But um Tucker doesn't care anymore. Like he doesn't like the elite. He, even when he was doing his show, he wasn't doing it out of New York, and he wasn't
Right.
around, or DC. He wasn't around these people. So on a PR kind of standpoint, having Alex Jones come on board with you, like first of all, having Alex Jones say, okay, this is the last, what's it called? Whenever broadcast, this is the last broadcast, emergency broadcast from Infowars. This is the last one. Do
We're
that
gonna
sort
have
of
an emergency
announcement, and then
broadcast
like,
moving forward.
yeah, and then like a week later, just be like, I'm moving in with
We're
Tucker.
going with Tucker, folks. We're going with Tucker.
Exactly that,
That would be
like, that's gonna
that would
break
be great.
that's gonna break everything.
I
It's gonna
agree
be
with you
massive.
too. And if it's gonna do anything, it'll probably help to um, raise the what's the right word? Raise the lens, or like help to raise up right-wing pundits and even further right-wing pundits, and get more eyes on them. Now that I see this is probably like one of the nails in the coffin of mainstream corporate media, especially with what's going on at CNN, with what's going on at Fox now. I think smaller independent media entities like Blaze, Daily Wire are only going to get bigger now.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Let's talk about Kevin Bacon shilling for the gays and for the drag queens. This was one of the weirdest things, right? Like he blocked me, by the way. So he blocked I'm
No
Doing Great.
way.
Kevin Bacon has blocked I'm Doing Great. Yeah, I can't get to him. Did he block you or no?
No, well, I don't think I tagged him in. I did talk about it on
Oh,
my
that was
show,
Robbie
but
Starbuck.
huh?
That was Robbie So Robbie Starbuck issued a challenge
Yeah.
to Kevin Bacon. That whole thing where Robbie Starbuck just basically said, hey, I'm going to show you footage of drag queens pretty much sexually abusing small children, or showing small children exchange money with these drag queens, and drag queens twerking on these small children. And if you still say that you have no problem with this, like, I'll give $5,000 to some charity, or if you do actually have a problem with it, then you have to give $5,000 or something like that. So then he blocked Robbie Starbuck. And then I had commented something on the post. I can't remember what it was, saying, you should do this. You're sexualizing. You're an actual groomer. Kevin Bacon should be ashamed of yourselves. None of your movies were really all that good. And then I got blocked, but his wife's account is still up. And she's kind of like, she's seen, whenever I see her, she kind of looks like Britney Spears, having that sort of, what do they call that with when the parents are in charge of your money? The stewardship or whatever. She kind of looks like she's not all there. Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
Ugh.
Yeah, these people aren't stable, but I mean, actors in general, they're a blank slate. Like, they're supposed to be a blank slate. So if they're kind of like guided towards a specific direction, like, hey, you're supposed to kind of defend drag queens, then they're gonna do it.
Doesn't that seem more applicable though to like the young Hollywood kid who doesn't necessarily, who's maybe a little bit ignorant to what's going around, what's happening in the world culturally, or specifically in the United States? Like, Kevin Bacon's like almost like a 6-year-old dude who should know better.
Yeah, but for instance, like, if you talk to the average conservative boomer about the trans stuff and all of that, like, they're kind of blissfully unaware of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, they don't see it as such a massive problem, but the reason why all of the trans and drag and all of that is a massive problem, it's not because of the Fox News talking point of like, oh, women's sports. Like, I couldn't care less. I don't care. I don't care
Same.
about women's sports. It's stupid. It's about dismantling the family. But if you get down to that, and you go down that route, and start digging deeper as to like why this is being pushed, and it's dismantling the family, and the crazy conservative Christian right in the 1980s and 90s, they were absolutely right about everything. They saw it. They saw it all happening. If you read Pat Buchanan's book, Death of the West, so that came out 23 years ago or something, he was talking about all of this. Like, certain people were seeing it, but it wasn't mainstream yet. And I think, like, for a lot of older conservatives, it kind of feels like that still to them because they're unaware of it. Like, even their financial advice, pull yourself up from your bootstraps and you can one day own a house. Like, it's not, the landscape isn't like that anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The system worked for you. It doesn't work for us now. It's actually meant to create a nation of serfs. Like, that's what it is. It wasn't like that when you were a kid. It was a lot easier. So, like, all the weird degeneracy that was happening around when they were younger, it was in the far corners of culture. It wasn't but now it's in the forefront. So on the lefty side, on the actor side, like for them, it's like love is love. Like, what do you guys have a problem with it? Like, they're not thinking deeply about it, so they're not seeing it like how we're seeing it, which is no guy, no Kevin Bacon. They're literally trying to dismantle the family, and it's not a conspiracy theory. Why are birth rates down? Um, and they're doing it because they would the powers that be would much rather have a nation of serfs. They would much rather have cheap labor. They want to import people from poorer countries who really wouldn't even be paying attention to any of these things. And the identity of a nation is completely gone after that. And not only that, but the family is the strongest, for lack of a better word, community that would stand against globalism and the
Right.
powers that be. Like a strong citizenry with strong families is is more dangerous than like China or Russia or whatever. Like
100%.
it's yeah. So it would be an army. So having that's the thing. Like you could even go back to COVID, when the lockdowns and were happening and all of that, and everyone complied and everyone was completely separated and isolated and alone, and then you saw like the trans numbers shoot up after shortly after that. um, None of that would have been able to happen really if we had a strong, happy, healthy country with a real identity that had real families and high birth rates. Like none of that would have happened. People wouldn't have allowed it. But when you have everyone isolated and alone, which is like literally what the trans thing is, then you could do anything. And not only that, but the best evidence to suggest that we're correct also is like, what does a cult do? Like, what's the first thing they do? So, like, let's say you ran away from home and join a cult. Like, what is the first thing that they tell you to do? It's to disassociate yourself, disconnect yourself from your family because we are now your family.
Mhm.
So, like, Kevin Bacon isn't a deep thinker, and none of these people really are. They're not thinking about the fact that this is, not only is it grooming and all of that, but they're not even aware that this is meant to dismantle the family. It's love is love. What do you have a problem with it? And not only is love, but the other talking point is it's an art form they've been doing it for thousands of years. I love that one. It's a
Yeah.
lie.
Well, that's also one of those copes. Like just because let's say there's been another culture who's been doing something for hundreds of years or whatever. It's like it doesn't make it right.
Right.
Like you could object. I think that you could easily show people around the world footage of a man who's dressed as a woman in a thong twerking on a 5-year-old at a bar during the day. And I think most people would probably, all around the world, regardless of culture, I think a lot of people would probably say, yeah, this is wrong. And anyone who says that it's not is lying in order to appease the mob. That's what I think.
Yeah, and child sacrifice was something that was happening for thousands of years, and
Mhm.
that's something that we should try to get rid of because it's still going on.
Well, this is
Abortion
what
is
happens
still.
if you have no backbone of religion, if you have no backbone of Christianity. Sorry, Josh. But
It's true.
you know no, that's what happens. I think that's absolutely what happens. Child sacrifice is right. The who is it, what's the difference between being Adolf Hitler and Mother Teresa if you don't have Christianity, if you don't have objective morality, if you don't have an objective for or an objective meaning for what is good and what is evil. If you don't have that backbone of Christianity, then anything goes, nothing makes sense, nothing is worth it. So
Yeah,
I might as well twerk on some little kids.
we live in a completely subjective world now, um,
Yeah.
which is very sad. You know.
I think so. I think it's sad too, but hopefully that we can red and white pill a lot of people out there. Um, okay, let's talk about your manual because I see it on Instagram. I see you talk about the manual. I
Yeah.
grift for the aura and I grift for the Heaven's Harvest, but I want to sustain the show. But you also sell products too. But tell me, I know that the manual that you're selling is to better men's lives. So can you give us a little abridged version of what the manual is and why a young man should buy it?
Yeah, I made an look. I didn't know if I would even sell 10 of these ebooks. I've never, you had Ajak on the show, and he's like the
Okay.
king of selling ebooks. So I figured, oh, I'll just see if that works. Like I'll try it. I'll like write about what I've learned on Twitter from right wing and on fascist bodybuilders. And the thing is like I applied these sorts of things into my life, and they worked tremendously. Or even, listening to Gavin 5 years ago, right a little before I got married. Him talking about no porn and all that kind of stuff, and try to
No
settle
winch.
down.
Yep.
So yeah, no wanks. And it's all true. Like, it's all good, and it's stuff I wish I knew when I was 18. I'm 36. So I put together, and the reason I called it the manual, because it is ridiculously short. It's like 41 pages. But that's by design. I didn't want to have a lot of fluff in there. I wanted it to get to the point, and it's really how young men should conduct themselves in a society drenched with degeneracy, and which, it's enticing, especially when you're young. It's like enticing to do whatever you want, do what feels good and all that, but it leaves you feeling empty and alone, again, by design, like with what we were just talking about.
Right.
So it's stuff I wish I knew when I was 18, and it's also stuff that I want my son to grow up knowing. So I kind of dedicated it to him, and I said it's kind of there just in case I die, like,
Should. Yeah.
you know he's going to still have strong masculine figures. Like, I have really awesome brothers. So just in case anything happens, like, he has them. But it would be like a little piece of what I've learned here that he can have. Um,
How many
so
how many have you sold so far?
554.
Whoa, that's good.
Yeah.
And it's $5, right, to buy the manual?
It's I have a discount link, so I can send that to you after. You can give it to
Yeah,
your
definitely. I'll
your
throw that in
people.
the description.
Yeah, so the lowest, because there's like different tiers. The lowest is $10. It's, and by the way, if you buy it and you're like, "F this, it's terrible, it's a waste of money," I'll refund you. I don't care.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Okay. Josh, we're going to have you answer some questions because you've gotten a lot of questions. We'll do Instagram questions, and then we'll do some YouTube questions because they've come in from all over. If you're just
let's
tuning
do
into
it.
this episode, we have episode 93 with Josh Lekach from Costa Rica, live in the
Yeah,
building. Here we go. Class is on. The new Kubrick, this is from Instagram, wants to know, is QAnon real?
I think it's kind of a psyop, but it's not QAnon. It's Q.
Mm,
Let's get this straight. It's Q.
okay.
I think it's kind of a psyop. There's You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like superhero movies and how popular they are. And, a lot of people kind of hope that there's like a savior,
Yeah.
which, if you're Christian, I guess it's Jesus, right? So maybe that should be your superhero. But,
Right. Yep.
um,
I think
but
oh no, Superman was made by a Jewish writer, a Jewish
uh-oh.
cartoonist. I don't think it was based on Jesus Christ, but I think Superman was supposed to be like the son of God.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Look, the people are so infantilized right now that even in the political world, that they really feel like all it will take is like one person to come fix everything. They think it's Donald Trump and all of that. And I would love to have a Julius Caesar type of emperor come and just completely overthrow the government, because that's kind of the only thing that we could really hope for. And, it's happened in history, so it's very possible.
We've got checks
Um,
and balances.
yeah, at this point, like, F all that, really, it's a joke.
Yeah,
I don't think our founding fathers could have ever envisioned any of this happening, like, to the extent that it is. They went to war over like 1% tax. The tax is
well,
like what, 60%? I don't even know. It's crazy. I don't even pay them.
I also can't stand it when people keep on bringing up, well, the founding fathers, they went to war over religious like, no, 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 it was taxes. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but even if you go back to the founding fathers, it took a lot of young, smart, rugged trailblazers to kind of like
Yeah,
get the
these guys
gumption
were in
to.
their late 20s, like outside of Washington.
Yeah, and they came together and were like, okay, we're gonna rally the troops and we're gonna fight. And I thought this sort of stuff was gonna happen on January 6th when I was watching it on TV. I'm like, holy crap, this is actually happening.
Yeah,
And then when it didn't, I was like,
kind of
so
bummed out, right? A little bit let
yeah.
down.
So all of these conservatives who are like, "Oh, it's atrocious what was happening." I'm like, "No, that's like the most American thing I could think of,
Yeah, and
actually."
that's what I've been saying for a while. I was like, that's the place where anything should be happening. They're not burning down cities. They're not destroying billions of dollars worth of, private businesses and stuff like that. They're taking it right to the place where it needs to be taken.
Politicians should be afraid of us. So the Q thing kind of like it's like astrology for politics, for like political junkies.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I get that.
it has like this savior kind of thing, message like, "Oh, don't worry. Just sit back, eat your popcorn. It's going to happen." But there's also like a weird thing. So they have this fixation of JFK Jr. He never died,
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
he's going to work with Trump, and they're going to arrest all these people, and like that would be a cool movie, I agree, but it's not happening. But then on the other hand, we have Robert Kennedy Jr., who
yep.
is running for president,
Hmm.
and so maybe Q was right about certain stuff. No, I'm
Maybe.
not. I'm not really a fan
No,
of
me
the Q
neither. It was an
stuff.
interesting documentary on HBO, but that was about it. Rich
Yeah,
Izzo, how do I get into the dating world as a 21-year-old guy? And I have to admit, when I saw this question, I'm like, what is happening to young dudes out there that they have to ask questions like this? Are they just so isolated from society that
yeah.
they don't know like how to go up and talk to a girl, or they don't know how to be social? I mean, I'm sure this is something that you talk about in the manual.
Yeah, it is, and I'd give advice on that. Like I met I'm sure you met your wife in person. I
Yeah, I've
was
seen her.
not. Yeah, I met my wife in a shared workspace, and we were just friendly with each other in the beginning, and then it blossomed into something because she wasn't taking shit from me. Like
Yeah,
modern women, they think they have all of this power over men, like because they're promiscuous and they don't need no man. But like I don't respect you, so I'm gonna like if you want to play that game and I'm dating and you're like that, okay, I'm not gonna respect you. But my
right,
wife was
exactly.
different, so I met her in real life, and um, I think that's how you should try to meet people. You know, Men are severely lacking camaraderie as well. And we need that as much as we need a companion. We need our companionship from our bros. I think
Mhm.
and that's how you can meet women as well. I think it's important, but it's maybe it's because I'm wearing a wedding ring, but it's surprisingly easy to just talk to not only women, just but like people. You
Just
know,
people in general. Yeah, I understand that some people have social anxieties. I get that. Um,
but
but my wife and I met online, and when we met in person, we were opposites, and we are opposites to this day. Like I'm very warm. I'm very loving. I'm very not soft spoken, but I'm very approachable, and I'm
yeah,
very sort of agreeable, I guess. And she's kind of like the opposite of that, and it works well with each other because we
yeah,
don't
you need to have
really have
that.
to prove anything.
You need to have that. Like this is what I would avoid. It's a red flag. Like don't try not to like fall over head over heels over someone in the beginning. That wears off.
Yeah,
You want to like have something where you could just continually build with this person, and you raise the stakes. And dating should be approached with the mindset of I'm trying to find someone to marry, not I'm trying to find someone to sleep with. And the thing I was gonna say before is like, for instance, at the gym, um, if you have something like a part of your schedule and like you go somewhere at the same time all the time, you're gonna see the same people.
hmm,
And at first they'll be like a head nod, and then like, oh hey, what's up? And then you start to get to know people. And humans are social animals. Just because we see TikToks of like vapid people who film other people, like I don't want anyone to talk to me at the gym. Like, okay, yeah,
right.
you're just a piece of shit. But most people aren't like that. Most people, want to talk to one another, and like part of going to the gym, it's like a social thing. And it's like, you're meeting people that are maybe like-minded because like you're health conscious and all that. So if you start going to a gym and you make it a point to like go at the same time, you're going to see the same people. That's awesome. And you'll make relationships with people, and even if you don't meet women there, you'll probably meet dudes there that you end up being friends with, and then maybe you go out together
Yeah,
and see other women.
little
Like that's how you
dominoes.
do it.
Yep,
It's
100%.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how we have to like teach people how to be normal humans again because of social media and everything that we have here. It's like it's all been thrown out the window. No one knows how to be normal anymore. It's crazy.
True. This is from Dick Cheney. Carpet bombs. Has the Middle East been sufficiently bombed?
Mm. Um, you know, I think Trump did a great job with the Middle East because we haven't really heard about those people in a while. I
Yeah,
mean, I
I
guess
mean,
we did.
ever since bombs went off in Afghanistan when we were, pulling out and all those Marines died.
Right.
I was under
I was
Biden.
about I was about to say except that.
Right.
Um, but so they're maybe making a comeback. So,
Yeah.
the thing with the Middle East and how Trump handled it's that's how we should be handling these sorts of things. We've never, when I was a libertarian, I was anti-war on drugs, and to an extent, I still am anti-war on drugs and how we're fighting it and how we have been fighting it. Because Trump, when he was in office, he would ask his people like, "Is it possible to treat the cartels like we do
Terrorists. Yeah.
terrorists?" And that is like his gut is so correct on these things. Like that would have
Mhm.
been unbelievable. And if he gets back in there, I hope he treats them like that because that's how you defeat it. Like
Yeah.
that's literally how you defeat these people. But it's not in the interest of the deep state. It's not in the interest of the CIA.
That's what El
Because
Salvador's president is doing.
yes, that's another good point. Like you have to you have to be really brutal with brutal people. So
100%.
I have we sufficiently bombed the Middle East? I think we did, but I think they're probably making a comeback.
Right. I mean, do we even see like Islamic, radical Islam as a big a threat as, let's say, what's going on at the southern border or what's happening within our own borders when it comes
No.
to, drugs or drag queens? And I, I was just thinking about that Jon Stewart interview that he was having with that congressman. He's like, okay, so let me get this straight. You don't want to ban guns, but you do want to ban drag shows. That guy handled it so poorly because I'd have been like, yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's the thing. Like conservatives, um, and I don't know if it's like the new modern day version of Christianity, but like the turn the other cheek thing, it doesn't work anymore, and we have to fight fire with fire. And again, Trump showed that with how he handled the Middle East and how he
Mhm.
wanted to handle the drug cartel. Like um, we have to be powerful again, and it works. And with modern day technology, with what the military has, like you don't even need to send troops anymore. You
Yeah.
know, so I don't know.
I forget who was talking about that with Russia. They were talking about Russia, Ukraine, and they were saying, why is there even a land battle going on? And I guess it's just because it's so vast. Like those two countries are huge that there kind of has to be a land battle and a physical invasion. Okay, this is from my pee in the pool. WTF happened to the amazing atheist? Does he not have a show on Censored anymore? I
Oh no,
guess.
he's not talking about AIU. So AIU is Atheism
Oh,
is Unstoppable.
right, right. Oh
Um,
yeah. Okay, sorry, I got
the
confused.
Amazing Atheist is this guy. Um, he was like one of the first YouTubers, and his tweets are absolutely ridiculous. It's like I kind of blocked them out of my memory, but you got to look them up. The Amazing Atheist, and he looks like Vouch, but
Yeah.
worse.
Okay.
Just way worse.
Oh boy.
And
Hold on.
and
Let me look
again,
him up.
it kind of proves like we're right about these things. Like if you invite these ugly thoughts into your mind and heart, you're gonna be an ugly person physically. You're
Was this
manifesting that
T.J.
into.
Kirk? Is this who it is?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Oh,
So he
okay.
was
Yeah,
like,
I've seen some of this kind of stuff.
yeah, he was one of the like biggest YouTubers he was one of the first. That's why. And his rhetoric hasn't really changed. He hasn't evolved as a person. Like I'm sure you've changed your opinions many times,
Well, yeah.
and evolved as a person as have I. Um, when I get ridiculed by people on Twitter, like if I post something and they're like, "You're so close-minded," and it's like, no, I'm very open-minded. I'm so open-minded that I used to believe what you believe, and then I changed to where I'm at now. So I'm that open-minded.
Hmm. I don't get. Is this guy like? Is he even like a satire account or is he a real
No,
account?
no, that's real.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh boy. All right.
yeah.
Well,
It's he's a
something I don't
mess.
want to see during the day. this is this is from. Let's see. I finally made an IG account. Is it all the Jews?
That's what it that the
That's the
no, I mean,
question. Is it all the Jews?
oh man. I haven't had it's funny because I was gonna interview Ye,
Yeah,
and then it fell through. But I was
because you
on
found out you were Jewish.
no, not even that. Just he like Gavin was the last one in there. I was
Yeah,
supposed to be the next one after that, and then after that, he's like, no more. Um, and I was gonna tell him that like, we're not all bad because I am Jewish, but I've also been burned by the Jews, so I kind of like feel you. I've had family that cut me off completely because I married outside of my religion, and they've said you're dead to me, and all of that. You're not invited. You're not allowed on my property anymore.
I want to ask you a real question, Josh, because
Yeah.
this is something I'm genuinely curious about. Okay, I like you say you are Jewish, right? When was the last time you were in temple?
Um, I don't remember
When
because
was the last time you said shalom to someone?
we do Sabbath dinner on Friday nights,
You
and we
still
do
do
the
that now currently?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you practice though currently? Are you at the temple on the Sabbath?
No, I mean I'm in Costa Rica. Not
Well,
many
you
Jews, not many Jews here, but um,
okay.
I
So do you
I
consider yourself a practicing Jew?
not like fully no, but we do
Okay.
Sabbath dinner, and I grew up with it, and I grew up going to temple and all of that. Um,
Do you get offended at Hitler jokes?
Absolutely not.
I was watching the Whatever podcast the other day, and hopefully I go on. And there was this conservative influencer who, this attractive blonde girl, young
The New
blonde girl.
Yorker, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And she said something. I can't remember what it was. I think she was ranking herself. And I think it was like a 8.8 she ranked herself. And the host Brian was like, "Oh, is that a Hitler joke?" And this girl got so
What?
offended at the guy. And his friend next to him was like, "Why are you so offended?" He's like, "No, I'm not offended. I made a joke." Like, she got offended. And she was like, "No, I'm a proud Jew, blah, 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 blah." And I'm saying to myself, I don't think so, because if you looked at this girl's Instagram account, nothing about it screams Jewish. At least either observant, Orthodox, practicing, none of it. She's scantily clad in most of these pictures. Now, when I say scantily clad, I mean like revealing dress. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing about her going to temple. None of that. And I mean, I guess you could say like, I don't want to necessarily like scream out my Judaism. But I was just saying to myself, if you're a real Jew, A, you're not on that show, and two, you're not dressed like that. So I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, and the she's not really offended. It's she's performing. I think most people are.
You think that was
It's
performative? The
yeah,
the
I
pearl
think
clutching. I'm Jewish.
yeah, of course. I think most people aren't like if you're offended by that, then we're all offended by the wrong things. Like we should be offended that they're going after kids. We should be offended. Like that's the right thing to be offended about. But to be offended about like a Hitler thing, like no. I mean, I have two grandmothers who are still alive. They survived the Holocaust. They're at that age where they're very repetitive,
Mhm.
sadly. And you hear about the stories and how they didn't have food. Like my grandmother, one of them, the Catholic Church saved her and her brothers.
Yeah,
They were in the church, and they said, "Oh no, these are Catholics. These are not Jews."
a lot of
Um,
Catholics killed during the Holocaust. A lot of Catholics. No one
Look,
talks about that.
but that's the
No
thing.
one
Like
even brings that up.
the Holocaust to me is almost like the Civil War, where we get certain truths, but we don't get the whole picture. And I
Yeah.
don't think like the Civil War wasn't about slavery, and World War II wasn't about like killing Jews. It was just kind of a byproduct, in my opinion. I don't think that's what it was really about.
Yeah, someone asked the other day, they said, "Did the right side win the Second World War?" And I said,
Was
"Ooh."
that Elijah? I think that might have been Elijah, and it went viral.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe he said something. Maybe he did
He
do like a
he
little
did a
segment on
poll.
that. But someone asked the question last week that I thought was pretty funny. Here's a kind of a downer sort of question, and I suspect we're both going to probably answer this similarly. This is from Spacey.town. How to trick husband into getting me pregnant? And I'll answer this first. If you have to trick your husband into getting you pregnant, you shouldn't be married to this person.
Yeah, honestly, get out.
Yeah.
Because also
You
like
put an LOL at the end of the question though.
Yeah, but still, LOL, get out.
Hell, well, get out.
Because if you do get pregnant, it might end up just being one and done, and you don't want that. You wanna have as many as possible, in my opinion, you know?
Eh,
Be fruitful and multiply. Why you need to ask him, like, why are we even married? Like, what's the point? It's a
yeah,
glorified roommates. That's basically what you are. Um, and I'm sorry if he wasted your time. And I don't know how old you are, but you need to get out. There's a woman
yeah,
I
I
met
agree.
at yeah, there's a woman I met at the gym, and she was like, we were talking, I'm like, oh yeah, my wife is pregnant, second kid, and she's like, oh, we have one, I want to have more, but my husband doesn't want to have more. And I'm like, oh man, that's such a tough situation. And I'm like, you don't even need to trick him, just like have sex.
Yeah,
Have sex, don't take birth control, obviously. And look, maybe he says he doesn't want any more kids, but once you see the child, like, all that goes away, I
it all
think,
changes.
if you're not a
Yeah,
monster, you know what I mean? If you're not Steven Crowder,
right,
you're not.
exactly. No, I feel bad. My brother's in that same situation. Like he's been dating this girl for 10 years. They recently got engaged, and even when I say recently, I think it was like 2 years ago. They're still
Oh
not
my god.
technically married yet, and no kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you have to really, you got to get going. And who knows? Maybe it's this thing like, oh, we don't want kids, and I haven't really had that talk to him yet, but I kind of need to, I guess.
But then what's the
Um,
point?
what is the point? Yeah, there is no point. I guess there's tax advantages, but I think at that point where they live, I think they are recognized legally as a married couple because they've been together for that long. I forget what they call those,
Yeah.
civil unions, maybe. Um, but yeah, I feel bad for my brother. I gotta reach out and talk to him. This is from Dan the Garbage Man. If you had to give up surfing or hockey for the rest of your life, which one would you give up?
Well, I mean, I don't play hockey anymore. I sold all my equipment before leaving California. Uh,
Yeah.
but I do want, like, my kid, his first word was hockey because I watch it. Like, I wasn't even pushing it on him. It's just I was watching it, and his
Uh,
first word was hockey, and that would be cool if I, like, can teach him and all that. Uh, I would give up. I still would give up hockey. Surfing's pretty cool. You're out in nature and you get that sunlight, and I'm gonna teach him my
yeah, if you
boy
can
to
go out
surf as
right
well.
behind where you are right now and start surfing, I would do that too. How
Yeah,
beautiful. How
it's
beautiful.
it's very pretty. Yeah, so
Well,
surfing, I would keep
this person
surfing.
sounds like a big fan of yours. Have you heard of Silk Road Admin?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got 4 questions. I'll kind of
Oh,
loop them in quickly. You can kind of do like a quick fire with these. Do supermarkets in Costa Rica have that weird ethnic people smell?
no.
Okay. What are your thoughts on CBD? Does it get a pass or approach with caution?
I would approach with caution, but my dad, who is 74, he's been taking it for like sleep problems, and he said it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So
Yeah.
I
No, I
think
know a
for
lot of
older,
people like that too.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely no
When will
wheat.
you be dropping some new merch, writing OP merch on the store? Or ring? When will you be dropping some new ring OP merch on the
Wrong
store?
OP, wrong OP.
Oh, wrong OP. Yeah. Sorry. Explain.
I don't know. I don't really. I don't care. I want to focus more on, like, substantial stuff, like
Okay.
the ebooks, and I have another one coming out next month. So
Fair. That's fair.
yeah.
Okay. This is from Dirty Dan 402 to Steven Crowder. Like men, some say yes. Your thoughts? Dresses in drag as a sketch.
Yeah, I think he's very frustrated. I mean, you could just tell how he treats his employees and, now his wife and all that. I think that he's frustrated with something. But let me just finish that with, you're not born gay. So he is a product of some sort of environment.
Yeah. Garrett Stansberry. Josh, what was behind the little door at your place in LA?
My bathroom.
Oh, okay. I guess you have
I
to be
I
really like big fan.
I used to
Um,
film, my show in my bedroom, and there was like a door right behind me, and
was it a
people are.
half bath or was it a full bathroom?
No, that was a full bathroom, but people were like, "What is that door?" I'm like, "I'll never tell. I just,
Hmm.
I revealed it. It's a bathroom." Oh my god.
Righteous Raul wants to know why no be follower of Christ.
Yeah, that look, it's I'm not like a theologian. I don't really know look, I know that God exists. And I used to kind of be agnostic, but I'm not. I like I feel it in my bones. There is something after. You can just see how people who believe in God, how much happier they are and healthier and more stable, and the people like that atheist guy, you just like see those types of people and they're miserable. And like the more you introduce into your life that this notion of like do what feels good, the less happy you're going to be. That's interesting. And so I think I there's validity in God and religion and all that, and I just don't know much about it, so I can't have an opinion on it right now. But I'm not.
Do you feel a lot of pressure from the Christian right to
No,
become Christian?
no. Everyone's
No,
pretty nice about it. Um,
I want you to.
Look, I don't know what the future holds. I know that's like a politician's kind of answer, but
Yeah.
it's it's honest. Like I don't
I
know
think what you
much.
got to do is I got to send you this clip. I got to send you Matt Fradd talking to Dennis Prager about masturbation and porn. And then when you listen to, I don't know if you've seen this, but when you listen to Dennis Prager, you're like, oh,
I just saw a quote about that, and I'm like, dude, you're completely wrong. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying with the boomers. Like but it's weird because like Dennis Prager kind of guess has his ear to the ground, but like maybe not with that. And you're
no, but that's his
he's
Judaism. That's
he's
his
so
Judaism
wrong.
talking.
I know, but uh, it's completely wrong. I mean, it's just wrong. He's wrong. I don't know. Yeah, send it to me.
Okay, this is from Extremely American 89. What is your favorite style of architecture? Will there be a revival of architecture in the USA?
It's interesting because one of the executive orders from Trump before leaving office was an executive order that any
I
new
remember.
government, yeah, any new governmental building being built needs to be designed in a traditional manner. And Biden repealed that, sadly. Um, the reason why I don't think there will be a revival, at least right now, is because we live in a godless society, and people are like, "Oh, how did people in the past build such beauty?" It's because they were building it not only for God and because they believed in a higher power, but they were building it for their ancestors. I mean, for their offspring,
Yeah,
future for their future kids. Like they would be building a church that they knew wasn't going to be done for like 100 or 500 years. You know what I mean? Like to have that sort of um mindset, I guess, like it's severely lacking right now. Like we're not even having kids anymore. Why
yeah,
would we build anything for the future? My favorite style, I don't know, like you look at like old European towns, like walkable cities, and they're built with like the materials of that are local to those indigenous
Lulu,
to those areas, and like that's all beautiful. I also love like really intricate baroque style,
sure.
and what's interesting also with this topic is um I'm so obsessed with conspiracy theories. Like the flat earth stuff is interesting to me even though I don't believe in it, or I don't really have an opinion on it. But it's gaining steam. And then there's another one called Tartaria. Have you heard of Tartaria?
I think so, but refresh my memory.
Okay, so there was a massive mud flood. There was to these people. But I mean, look, maybe Noah. I don't know. There was a
Yeah,
massive mud flood, and all like there was civilizations more advanced than we are today, and they had these like really beautiful buildings and insane architecture that we can't fathom today. And we started tearing all of those buildings down in the late 1800s with the World's Fairs.
right, right, right.
But these people say that it was from an advanced civilization before, and the Tartary, I think it's called, like the Tartarians or whatever, and they were just really really advanced, and we just tore it down. And I think that like if we're getting to that level of conspiracy where we can't fathom our past can build beauty like that, then we've completely lost the plot. Like
Yeah, you
on
don't even
on
have to go that far back to look at the Roman Empire and look how beautiful it was, or the
But they don't
Greeks, or
even believe that that was like that. It's all this thing that I'm talking about.
I don't
That
like
they
it. I don't like it already.
No, but that's my point. Is that like we're so godless right now, and we lack the identity like severely, that we have zero connection to the past,
Mhm.
and we can't relate to these people. We can't fathom that they were able to build these sorts of things because we don't think like they do, and like these are people who really believed in God, and they cared about the future so much. I mean, even the founding fathers, like with the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and all that, like they were really thinking that far ahead, and they were really like even the what's it called, the Electoral College, like they were like, oh, it can get corrupt. Like there could be one heavily populated area that really believes this other area that doesn't have that many people. Like, it wasn't that you know uh, it that it wasn't like very possible at the time. It's like such a sorry, it's
He
such
didn't
a
think 30
smart
million
thing.
people would live in LA County.
Yeah, it's such a smart
Hip,
tool that they implemented into the whole system, but like it
yeah.
was not like that at the time. But they were
Hmm.
thinking about the future. Like no one thinks about the future anymore.
Right. Okay, I like that. Germanger wants to know, what is a recommended breakfast? Is that the information, or is that the type of information that would be found in the manual? I'll tell you what a good breakfast is. Egg, sausage, waffles. I'm good. And black coffee.
Yeah,
I do. Listen, I know people are going to make fun of me, but okay, I went back to the coffee. It's decaf. Every now and
I
then when
think
I'm not
coffee's
home and
I
I
think
want a
coffee's
coffee,
good.
I'll have a coffee. So what?
Dude, I think coffee's good. I think tobacco is good. I started
Coffee,
smoking.
tobacco, nicotine,
Yeah,
natural caffeine, natural
yeah,
tobacco. It's good for you.
powerful,
It,
powerful.
it boosts the T, it reverses Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's
a
the one thing that I
powerful.
like about Tucker when he went on to the Nelk Boys podcast. He was talking about the Zyn and he's talking about the nicotine pouches. And,
Yeah,
he's kind of like red pilling everybody on nicotine. So it's the one thing that I like about Tucker.
it's it's um it's the tobacco thing is interesting because um have you noticed like they can't advertise anymore? The cigarette
Yeah.
companies can't
Yeah.
advertise, but the pharmaceuticals can.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah. It doesn't make any
and
sense.
and everything about COVID was completely wrong, and everything about modern day dieting is completely wrong. Why are they trying to dissuade us from smoking tobacco? Obviously there are certain brands that aren't good. And I just smoke cigars, so I don't like fully inhale or anything. But it's powerful, especially for men. It's not. I wouldn't recommend it for women, but it is very, very powerful for men. It's the opposite of estrogenic, which would be marijuana, which they are pushing on people now. So, but that's not the question. The question was about diet
Or breakfast. What what
for
what what is
breakfast.
your recommended breakfast? The questioner asks.
The classic steak and eggs if you can,
Yeah,
or
for real.
ground beef with eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and sourdough is really good.
Oh,
But
sourdough toast. Yeah, the
yeah,
ideal for me, dude. You know what I've been doing recently? I know it's bad because of the corn, but I've been doing this is my after church breakfast. Okay, you ready for this?
tell me.
Cup of black coffee. To sweeten it, I add maple syrup,
Me too.
organic natural maple syrup.
Me too.
Okay, just a little bit of that in the black coffee, and then I do 2 eggs scrambled or over medium. Doesn't matter. Either of those is fine.
It's
Then I do
powerful.
sausage. I do 2 grass fed beef sausage, and then what I do is I take this cornbread that I get from Sprouts, and it's just it's so delicious. I cut it in half. I don't like just cut it in half. I kind of splice it down the center of it to get 2 longer pieces, and then I put that on the cast iron, get it nice and hot and crunchy, and then I put some jam on it.
I'm not against that. I think that's great. And I've also been on a croissant kick. By the way, I
I
think
had a
croissants
croissant sandwich for lunch today.
croissants are great.
With
Um,
a salad? Why
you know
not?
what I also tell people lately? If
Good.
you get, I think vanilla ice cream, like the Haagen Dazs is actually surprisingly a great brand.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, but if you get an ice cream that is literally like 3, 4 ingredients, which is heavy cream, eggs,
Yes.
sugar, and vanilla bean or whatever,
Yeah.
I think it's very, very healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I don't think sugar is bad for you. I think like the heavily like corn
Like
syrup
corn
and
syrup, not
yeah,
good.
all of that's
Yeah.
bad. But I think sugar is actually healthy, and I eat ice cream before I go to bed, and I sleep absolutely amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think that's powerful too. But yeah, I'm not against your breakfast at all. And the maple syrup thing in the coffee is
Dude, it's a
amazing.
sleeper hit. People don't know.
Dude, I do it every day. Our budget for maple syrup every month is through the roof because it's very expensive out here.
Yeah, we get ours
It's
from Costco. So we get like these 2 like half-gallon jugs of
I
maple
wish
syrup.
we had that, but it's so expensive here. I think like the maple syrup budget in my family is probably like $50 a month or $60.
Oh, that
It's
sounds about right. No, that
I
that's
mean,
pretty good.
yeah, I don't know, maybe more, and I'm not doing the math right, but
What I've done is my wife and I, we do this. We have a little snack before we go to bed, and this is about maybe like 2 or 3 hours before we go to bed. But once a week, my wife will make she'll make either these brownies or these blondies, but they're not. They're all like natural sugars. They're almond flour, I think. Maybe an egg or two thrown in there. I can't really remember. Um, but then we heat it up. We refrigerate it. Then we heat it up, and then we put some coconut whip, like some coconut Cool Whip, instead of
mm,
like that, like really like disgustingly sugar whipped or whatever. It's made with coconut milk. It's fantastic, and I gotta tell you, like, I don't often get an upset stomach from it. Like I do every now and then, and that's probably just because of the amount that I have right before bed. But if I
oh,
have like
yeah.
a smaller serving, it's perfect.
Yeah. I don't know,
Dark
like,
chocolate,
we
not
were
milk
lied
chocolate.
to I think we were lied to about sugar. I think
Yeah,
we were
no, I
lied.
think so. Well,
Everything's a
it's
lie.
we're lied to about everything, right? You know what I mean? Like red wine is bad for you. Red meat is bad for you. It's like everything in moderation. And if you get if you get grass fed beef, if you get some nice actual. This is what someone was talking about. He was talking about I'm lactose intolerant. I'm allergic to gluten, but I went to Italy and I ate for a week and I felt fine. As soon as I came back to America, I was having these allergic reactions and the food made me feel horrible. It's just, yes, because in Italy and in plenty of places around Europe, everything is made with 5 ingredients because everything else is outlawed there. Like there's no high fructose corn syrup there. There aren't words that you can't pronounce. Like all the ingredients are egg,
Yeah.
flour, sugar, salt. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean,
That's a black belt, the food industry in America.
yeah, but once
Um,
you learn it, then you're free in a sense, like they
yeah.
can't, create a slave out of you, and,
Yeah, the
you
potato chips that I eat with my lunches are avocado oil. So there's no
Oh,
canola
okay,
oil.
awesome, yeah.
So
You
much
should try
canola
that.
oil
You should
in
try
potato chips.
the masa chips, I think. They're made with the tallow. They're made with tallow.
Oh, no. There's this one brand called Siete that a lot of their chips are, their potato chips are in avocado oil and they use cassava flour, I think, for their
Okay.
chips. I can't remember. Also, my wife was telling me some really interesting things. Like she found this article that I think it was like McDonald's up until the 80s was using beef tallow to fry their
Yeah.
fries in. Um, I think Buffalo Wild Wings uses beef tallow for something else,
No
like or
way, they
uses
do?
tallow for something. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're just kind of like finding a lot of these fast food companies now that had little bits of histories where they were using actual like healthy food products. And what I was saying was it just makes sense. Like at the time in like let's say the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where they were using beef tallow at McDonald's to fry their fries. Then the 80s happens and it's capitalism and greed out of control and these places just boom in numbers and in restaurants and stuff like that. So in order to keep up with the demand and the amount of people that they're feeding, they're like, okay, it's too expensive for us to use beef tallow. We can't do this anymore, so we'll just use canola oil because all that they're
It
worried about is about a
the
profit. They're not worried
for
about
the
our health.
for the McDonald's thing, for the tallow, it was, this rich millionaire dude at the time who was kind of, really putting the pressure on McDonald's to use vegetable oil, and, he
Oh.
won. Yeah, like,
It wasn't
McDonald's.
Rockefeller or someone like that.
No, but I think Rockefeller, they did the thing with the milk, though,
Yeah,
if I
I
recall
agree.
correctly. Yeah.
This is some YouTube questions. This is from Blogga19. Why is he so smug all the time?
Am I?
I don't think so.
Maybe that might be a woman. You know what I hear?
Can't tell.
Um, I hear people tell me, like, they'll DM me and stuff. They'll say, "I love your show, but my wife hates it." But she'll be in the background kinda, like, nodding and agreeing, but
Yeah,
she doesn't like you.
many
And
such cases.
I guess I am mean to women, and but the hate speech, you guys, hate speech, it's proper. It's the proper speech because how could you see what's happening today and be anything but
But
hateful
hateful.
about it? Yeah.
Shutai says, I like Josh. He's good. Smashing Random Keys said, when is he getting on Tim Pool and how dangerous is the quote big tent Republicans to the direction of the country? This guy has a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, the Tim Pool thing I was gonna go on when Patreon banned me. When I around the first time I
Oh,
did
right.
I
Yeah.
was they were like, "Oh, we might want you on," and then it never happened. So, I don't know. I mean, I would fly out for that, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of his, but I definitely would do it. And it would be interesting, I think. So I have
Okay.
no idea.
Smashing Random Keys has a lot of dumb questions in there that aren't interesting at all. But the last one is interesting. What is the national origin of your last name?
I'm pretty sure it's Russian. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. My
okay.
grandfather fought for the Red Army in World
Oh,
War
did he
II.
really?
He did.
Oh, boy. During the Second World War?
Mhm.
Oh, yikes.
You know, the crazy thing is he's not alive anymore, but he lost his finger,
Yeah.
and he was shot in the war, like I think in the leg, and we were never sure like how he lost his finger. He, sometimes he would say, "Oh, it was in the war," and then other times it was in a factory after the war. So we don't really
Right.
know how he lost it. Um, so there we go. Yeah, I don't know
What
if
is
it
it?
was.
What is it about grandfathers not coming clean? Like, why
Dude,
can't you just tell us the truth?
I don't know. I think after a certain age, you just start to recreate your history. You just start to like rewrite your history. Uh,
I am
that might
certain
be
I
it.
do that. Yeah, I was
I mean,
telling,
maybe everyone does it. I don't know.
I can't remember what it was, but I was telling my wife about the time that I hung out with Kristen Stewart for a night. And I was just like, sometimes I actually think, am I making this up?
Yeah,
Like, did it actually happen?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I know for sure that it happened, but then sometimes when I'm telling people, I'm just like, I'm lying. Am I
It
lying?
doesn't seem true. Yeah, like if you bring up her Twilight, Robert Pattinson was in my apartment wasted one time in LA. Uh
Really?
yeah, and I don't remember why he was there. I think he was a friend of my brother's friend and I was living with my brother, but that was weird. But like did that happen? I have to now ask my brother. I don't know.
Right.
But it did though. I saw him. He was, really drunk. I don't know.
Did you talk about when Drake Bell went missing? Did you talk about that?
No, but they found him, right?
They did find him. I have a weird Drake Bell story in that I was with some people in LA who were making an album. This was in 2010, either 2009 or 2010, whatever. And we got invited to his house. So we go over there, and there are people playing that game Rock Band. He
Oh,
had to
okay.
go over to his piano, his actual piano, and start singing, like start doing the songs and playing the piano. And then after people stopped playing the game, he was just playing the piano and singing. And I was just like, this is weird. I don't like this.
That dude, so I met him. I think I don't know if it's the same number, but I have his number. Because I met him around the Milo time in 2015, 16 when I was
Man,
more friendly with Milo. I'm not having no problems with him. I It's just when we were hanging out. And Drake was a fan of Milo's as well, but secretly, because
yeah,
you're famous, you can't. So we
right.
went to his house, and again, did this happen? I don't remember. Um, and he's kind of like a damaged person, but like he has a good heart. But he like when you go through
Well,
the
he was
child
nice, and I
acting,
remember he was nice. I was just like,
he
this is a little
was,
weird.
he was.
I
Um,
think that's the thing with celebrities and wealthy people, and I'm not saying that all of them, but a lot of them, the from what I've seen and from what I've hanging out with, a lot of them like to kind of flaunt what they have, whether that be the money or the talent. Like, okay, I realize you're an extremely talented person. Um, did we come over here for you to serenade us? I don't think so, but
Yeah,
if
but
that's what you're
that's the
gonna do,
thing. They're completely fucked with when they're kids, and
yeah,
they don't know who they are, and so he went through that whole system, child actor and all that, and I can't imagine many of them come out being normal, and it's almost like you just kind of you hang out with these people and you kind of feel bad.
yeah.
One side of you, you're like, man, I wish I had all that money, but then on the other hand, you're like, yeah, but they're very broken people, and it's sad.
What are the odds that you'll give me, or what are the odds that you'll give the people watching that I get Bieber on the podcast?
You're trying to get Bieber?
I DM'd him yesterday. I was like, "Hey, I see that you saw this DM or this clip from the podcast that I posted. I'm going to be in LA in May. Why don't you break your podcast cherry and come on the show?" the odds are so like if you were betting in Vegas, the odds
Yeah,
would probably be like a plus 50,000,
but you
something
never
like that.
know. You that's the thing. Like you always have to put yourself out there because you just never know what's going to happen.
I just don't
Um,
think anyone who works with him would allow him to do so.
yeah,
He'll
that's
go on
kind of
that.
the problem. That's the
Yeah.
problem. And by the way, I don't know when it will ever come out, but I guarantee you he has stories of abuse.
Oh,
Um,
you think so?
I think so, yeah. And that's another person that I think like he's probably a really good person, you
Yeah.
know, but he's for sure seen very dark things, I think.
I think so too. And he is a good person. I know that factually and personally. And also, I heard that you were in LA not too long ago because I had a couple of guys in the men's club. Maybe did they go up to you to an event that you and Gavin were doing?
Men's club?
Yeah, my men's club, the IDG men's club.
Oh, maybe
Because you were in
I
LA, what was it last month or the
yeah.
month before?
No, it was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said go up to Josh, tell him I said hello. Who knows if
I
they
don't
did or not? I don't know.
I don't know if they did. Yeah, I don't know if they
Okay.
did, but
Membership revoked.
yeah, you have to because the thing is I don't remember, but not because I drink. I don't drink. So maybe they did. There were people who did come up to me and say what's up, but I don't think they mentioned your show. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man,
Yeah.
jeez, men's club revoked. You guys should also go to the men's club, the IDG men's club.locals.com. Supported. You get access to the Discord. The Discord is fantastic. We really hope that Discord chat does not get leaked. Would not be good for any of us. Though I would defend it. I would defend everything said in the Discord. That's been happening a lot lately, right? The Discord leaks. What's going on with that? People just leaking Discords.
Yeah, I mean like the guy with the airman, the
Yeah.
National Guard, 21-year-old.
Mhm.
You really never know who's like infiltrating.
You
And
never.
you
Yep. You never know.
it's happening in real life. The FBI does it in real life. They'll, go into certain groups and,
Yeah.
and then it turns out that like everyone there is the FBI and no one's really a part of a group. The FBI just made it up, but they're infiltrating everything. So you just
I heard
gotta.
the FBI is getting sued by some Catholics now.
Are they?
Yeah, yeah. There was a Catholic group that filed suit against the FBI. I got to look into that more as I don't have all the details in front of
Yeah, I
me.
haven't heard that. That's interesting.
Um, but yeah, speaking of details, Josh, thanks for coming on the show. We're gonna wrap it up right there, folks. How do you feel about that, Josh?
I thought it was great.
Got to
It was
come on
fun.
again. We always enjoy having Mr. Josh Lekach on the
Thank
show,
you.
guys. This is episode 93. Going to LA in May for Jimmy Dore. Might have a special surprise guest while I'm in LA as well. We'll do another one. But guys, please keep on continuing to support us. I'm going to put some links to Josh down in the description. You can see the manual there. I'll send you the link to his show Uncensored, the Wrong Opinion show. And until next time, guys, remember that there is a new show every Monday and Thursday. I'm going to try and do my best to keep that schedule going. Have a great day. Thank you, Josh, once again. And
Thank
just tell
you.
people your Instagram and your Twitter and all that fun stuff.
Instagram and Twitter are Josh Lekach, Lekach, and then the show. I do the live show on Saturdays on Censored TV, but during the week it's on Gumroad, rongop.gumroad.com, and that's where the manual is as well.
Okay. Well, you heard it, guys. You heard it from Josh. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.